Hey, welcome to your Libra horoscopes for the week of November 5th to the 11th. And we have some exciting stuff happening this week as we have Venus moving into Libra. Always nice when a sign and their ruling planet come together. There's like a magic that happens with that. But also, as Venus is moving into your sign, the moon is moving into your sign with Venus as well. So there's a little tiny bit of a challenge there as all that happens. About Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday is when Venus actually officially moves into Libra, in opposition with Neptune. And while Venus's focus is very much on finances and long-term financial goals, we have Neptune in retrograde focused on the past, which is actually a very interesting combination. It's sort of a reminder not to repeat past mistakes, basically, or it kind of comes up around when you're, let's say, creating your financial, long-term financial goals. When you come up with old ideas, they tend to be a problem for whatever reason. And the reason that they are being a problem is because it's just not something that you want to focus on. You've been there, you've done that. Let's try something new. Or specifically around issues where they have been a problem in the past, it's a reminder not to continue to keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. The moon kind of adds a very emotional reason why you don't want to do that. Basically, there's a couple of different things playing into this. One, things aren't the same way they were before. So if you had this idea 20 years ago, it may have worked a lot better 20 years ago than it will now, because there's a lot of most of the situations are different. We're in a different economy. You may have a different, you're making different money at this particular point. There's a lot of things that play into that just may not work the same way that it did before. Or just because things are different now isn't a guarantee that your old ways of doing things are going to continue to be the same this time, if that makes sense. The good news is, though, is that the moon and Venus, as Venus moves into your sign with the moon hot on her heels, basically, she's in a grand sextile with Mars and Pluto. Pluto is all about power and transformation, and Pluto's focus is on inner trauma. Very strange place to be in terms of being helpful to you, but actually sometimes that trauma is helpful to you. Think about it. I a few years ago actually was working with a coach in a session about our money mindset and how much our childhood experiences play into that. And at first, the thought of that blew my mind. Like, how do you really have any kind of uh, childhood trauma around money, right? Not taking into consideration that, if you grew up in a family that struggled, that obviously would have an effect on you. But delving farther into that for myself, I realized that I created my first business at 13 years old. I had a babysitting business. I had several different clients. I was raking in the money left and right for a 13-year-old in the 80s, which meant I spent a lot of time at the mall spending it. That was up until one of the adults that was in control of my life at the time decided that because I was spending so much time working and I wasn't spending enough time at home doing my chores, and my chores were not done to his satisfaction, he was going to keep my money until they were. And my chores were never going to be done to this man's satisfaction. He got away with hundreds of dollars, which did create a mindset at a very young age that no matter how hard I work, somebody is always there to take it for me or take it from me. So now let's project forward to now. And what is happening? Every time I get a little bit of money, somebody else wants it. I got to pay this person. I got to pay that person. I got to do this. I got to do that. I mean, I never get to keep my money. And when I do get to spend it on something other than a bill, I take it to the grocery store where whoop, it's gone like immediately because everything in that store is just ridiculously expensive. I'm living the same mindset that was created by somebody else at 13 years old. And it blew my mind that that was actually a thing, but it is a thing. So in many cases, understanding that trauma that happened in the past actually releases the control over the situation. Because now that I've put it in its place, I can look at this in a different way. Yes, I am handing my money over to all the bills, but I have a car and I have a house and I have running water and electricity. And, just a simple changing your perception on it makes a huge difference. And you're not so much feeling like people are just there to take your money all the time. Mars is focused right in the middle of career and long-term goals. So we're talking about your long-term career goals here. Releasing that trauma, releasing those fears also helps to be able to project you towards your career success as well. And with Mars at the helm, this is a tremendous amount of energy going into that. The other thing that is beautiful about it is that Mars and Venus are working together. I love when Mars and Venus work together. It is that combination of masculine and feminine energy that really works towards making these things, making those goals successful. You have to take the logical, what makes sense approach, but you have to be creative and let things flow at the same time. And when you bring those two things together, when you make decisions with your heart and your head, magical things do happen when you use both instead of one or the other. When you use one or the other, you get stuck in one of them, whichever one you're currently leading with now. So bottom line is, I feel like you guys are getting into a space where you're on the right track to success and whatever those goals are. You just have to remember that you have to keep staying the course and not let those little crazy things like your head, for example, distract you from that. As the moon moves through your sign, not a whole lot of damage is being done, so to speak. In fact, it's really not spending a whole lot of time interacting with other planets. We've mainly got what Venus is doing, and the moon just kind of sort of comes through and says, hey, and then leaves and is pretty much gone out of your sign by the end of the week. So easy peasy for you guys. The moon's been a pain in everybody's behind all week long. But for you guys, she seems to be really giving you an emotional reason to make sure that these goals succeed, specifically around your finances. It creates a certain amount of security that is necessary. And another interesting thought, and I don't think that just Libras do this. I mean, everybody does, but I am married to a Libra. And one of the things that I've noticed over the years with this wonderful man is that his mood is very much ruled by what is in his bank account. So if he has money, he's in a great mood. If he's broke, he's in a not so great mood. That should not control your mood, because the minute it does, it makes it very difficult to find a solution that keeps that security in there, as opposed to it constantly being there and not being there and being there and not being there, if that makes sense. So that's what I have for you guys this week. A whole lot of loveliness, which is awesome. If you love your horoscopes, do consider sending a tip or donation through my coffee link. It's there in the description for you guys. I'm also setting it up to where you can book time with me through that link as well. So I'm beefing up my profile there a little bit so you can see the services that I do provide, and you can also order them through the app anywhere in the world because it uses PayPal to do it. So easy peasy if you were interested in that. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. You guys kick some butt this week. It's very exciting how things are lining up for you guys to be successful. You just gotta jump on that success bandwagon and ride it all the way into town where more success is waiting for you guys. Basically, have a great week with that. Make it a great week, and I will see you guys next week.